So in the previous module, we saw that we can use a class path and place classes somewhere on that class path. And the class path can reference a directory, or the class path can reference a jar file. In this module, we'll see how we can make use of the inbuilt class loaders in Java and how to write our own class loader. So first of all, we'll take a look at writing and using a URL class loader. So we have a main class here. And in here, we're going to create a URL class loader and use that to specify a location to load classes. So we do that by defining a URL class loader. And this is in java.net. We can just call it UCL. And we'll create a new instance of that URL class loader. And the constructor to this takes an array of URLs. So we need to define a URL. So we can say URL, and we'll end up wrapping all of this inside a try-catch block. And there'll be a few exceptions that we have to handle. So for now, we'll just do try-catch, and we'll add the exceptions in a moment. So inside the try block, we'll say URL equals new URL, and we'll pass this the location of our classes. So for this example, we've created a file called quota.jar that contains a quote class. So here, we need to specify where that file lives. Now for this example, we're going to hard code this location, and we need to specify a URL. So the location is on c/demos/lib/quota.jar. So that will be in URL format, c/demos/lib/quota.jar. And then to make this a URL, we'll need to say file://. And that should give us access to this URL. And this is complaining that we need to add a catch. So we add a catch clause to this and get rid of the empty one here. And we can now catch the exceptions thrown when we create the URL. To the class loader, we pass an array of URLs. So here we can say new URL, and into here, initialize that with the URL we created above. So just like the class path, we can pass as many URLs to our class loader as we need to use. That code will simply load the class. So once the class loader has been created, we can then use that to load up a class. So we can say something like class clazz equals ucl.loadClass. And to load class, we pass it the name of the class we'd like to load. Now, I know that in quota.jar, there's a class called com.mantizo.quote. So that should load that class for me. And again, IntelliJ is complaining we need to add a catch clause. We'll add a class not found exception in this case. Once we have the class in place, we can create an instance. So I can say object O equals class.new instance, and again it wants to throw an exception, in this case a instantiation exception, an illegal access exception. Once we have that, we'll print out just the information about the class. We'll call o.toString and print that message out, which in this case will just print out the hash code of the class. Once that's all in place, so if I compile this code, just go to build, make project, go to a command window, and in here run the application. IDEA saves this to a location called out/production/demos, and we have com.pluralsight.main, and from here, if I run the code, then we just print out the hash code of the class. We show the class has been loaded. If we change the name of the class, for example, here, and build the code, and then run this again, we'll get a class not found exception. So, of course, the problem with this example is that when I call a new instance, I only get back something of type object. Now, I know I'm actually getting back something of type com.mantizo.quote, but I can't use that type directly here. Because if I do that, that defeats the whole purpose of me using a class loader. Because by using this type directly inline in the code, then in that case, we'll simply use the application class loader. So if I need to access the methods on the quote type, I need some other way to do that. And the way we do that typically is to break this down into using interfaces and implementations. So we have a slightly more complex example to show that.